Hey guys! This week we're making sheet pan dinners. Some of you requested it and you got it. But to make it extra challenging, I took a budget of $30 only and went around LA in search for affordable ingredients. And with that budget, I'm gonna make 8 dinners. But 8 recipes would make this video way too long, so I'm sharing 4 recipes this week and the remaining 4 recipes will be in the next week's video. So don't forget to subscribe so you'll get a notification when the next video comes up. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Ellie and today we're making sheet pan dinners on a budget. And now let's start cooking. And this is $30 worth of food. I think it's quite impressive. I did have to go to multiple stores to find the best deals because it's getting really expensive everywhere. This chicken is from Smart and Final, and because I got it reduced, I put it in the freezer. I also cooked half a bag of chickpeas that I put in the freezer as well. The broccoli is from the 99-cent store. Actually, a lot of the vegetables are from the 99-cent store. Some of them are from the market though. So as mentioned, broccoli 99 cents, and these jalapeno string cheese was $1.29. Tortillas from there as well, $1.49. We also have some chayote squash, and eggs. I get them at Trader Joe's because they're really expensive everywhere, and at Trader Joe's they're $2.99, so we have 6 here. The corn and the yellow squash are from the market, about $3 together. Potatoes, really expensive. I don't know when potatoes got so expensive. Onions, $2.49 at the dollar store. We got asparagus as well. I have this bag of greens that I found at Jons for 79 cents. And here I have half a pack of frozen tofu, and the salmon I got from Jons. They had a really good deal this week, so I got quite a bit of it and froze the rest. The green beans were on offer this week at Smart and Final, so I got them there. The bell pepper is from the 99-cent store as usual. The fresh herbs on offer at Jons, 2 for $1, so I got parsley and cilantro. And the chorizo is from the 99-cent store, I believe $1.49. So we come to a total of $30.53. I will put all the prices in the description below as usual. And for the first recipe, we're gonna go with our salmon. I'm gonna make corn on the side, roasted in the oven. And I've never used chayote squash before, but apparently you can eat it roasted, cooked, raw, all sorts of ways. So I'm gonna combine it with the onion and just roast them together because we have a lot of onion. Other things that I'm using is our fresh parsley, some butter, and seasoning. Prepare a large bowl of water so you can soak in the corn for around 10 to 15 minutes before you bake it, and make sure it's washed well and the silky threads have been removed as well. If your pots are not big enough like mine, you can decide to snap or cut your corn in half. I peeled the onion and I'm gonna cut it in half moon shapes. I want large chunks of crispy onion, so I'm not cutting it too thin. And I will do a similar thing with the chayote squash, just cut it in half and slice in half moon slices. The whole of the chayote squash is edible, but there is a seed in the middle that you can remove if you would want. We have our corn soaking here and our vegetables are ready to be seasoned. I will start by putting some olive oil on so our seasoning will stick on it better, and with black pepper, and I'm using Vegeta here, but you can use any type of all-purpose seasoning that you like or have, or you can just use salt or seasoned salt as well. And I'm using my fingers to mix it all together, but if you don't want to do that, you can use a spatula or just flip it inside the bowl. Melt 2 tablespoons of butter, either in a pan or in the microwave, and oil your baking tray. Take 1 piece of your corn and brush it with that melted butter generously. You want a good layer of butter because it will give it a taste and also a nice browning edge in the oven later. And for seasoning, I'm just gonna use a little bit of salt and pepper. And once we have the corn nicely buttered, I'm gonna put the remaining vegetables in the other side of my baking tray and put this in the oven on 400 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes. And now the fish, I would recommend to soak in all the excess water off of it before we put it in the oven, just so we don't end up with soggy salmon. Add a thin layer of olive oil on both sides of the steaks, and I will season with Old Bay seasoning, dry dill, black pepper, and garlic powder. But you could also use any other herbs and seasoning that you like or have available. There is no need to follow this recipe down to a T. And if you remember, we had quite a bit of melted butter left, so I'm gonna use the fresh parsley and chop it very thinly and add it to the butter with a little bit of dill so we can have a nice herby buttery glaze for our corn and salmon. It's been 30 minutes, so I've taken the vegetables out of the oven. I will flip the corn and give the vegetables a good stir. And in my case, I'm placing the salmon on top of the vegetables. If you have bigger trays, you can put them separately, but I don't mind the juices from the fish going into the vegetables. And this goes back in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. 5 minutes before it's done, you want to take it out of the oven and brush it generously with the herb butter that we made earlier all over the salmon and the corn. And I know this might sound like a lot of work, but trust me, it's gonna be worth it, especially with the corn. And I mean, I do love buttery corn. So now you can just put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes, or you can put it under the broiler for 3 to 5 minutes. And next we're making a tofu salad. I have my protein greens here and I put in a paper towel just so it will soak in all the excess moisture and lasts a bit longer. We're also gonna need half a bell pepper, and I'm using the smaller broccoli and the stem from the other broccoli. And I've defrosted some of my cooked chickpeas. The easiest way to do that is to just soak them in hot water and they're ready in about a minute. And the tofu has been frozen before, which means so much easier to squeeze all the excess water out of it. And speaking of tofu, let's start with the marinade first. I have about 1 tablespoon of water here, to which I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and around 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce. Mix the 3 ingredients together and your marinade is ready. Cut the tofu in bite-sized slices. I like them in little squares. You can cut them however you want them and put them in the marinade and let them marinate for at least 10 minutes up to few hours or even overnight. And while our tofu is marinating, let's continue with prepping our vegetables. I will cut all the hard bits off of the broccoli stem, like the dark green part can get a little bit chewy, so it's best to cut that off, and slice the rest of the stem in smaller cubes. It's gonna take a little bit longer to bake than the florets, for example, so you want them in smaller pieces. I will slice half of the bell pepper in smaller cubes as well, and I'm using these ingredients just because that's what I have available right now, but try whatever you like. Mix and match different types of protein like chicken and cans of tuna and all sorts of vegetables, from potatoes and cauliflower, tomatoes. Just try a little bit of fresh, a little bit of baked ingredients and see what you like the most. Prep your baking tray by either spraying it with oil or layering it with parchment paper and place on your vegetables and tofu. Sprinkle them with a little bit of olive oil and season with salt, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, and black pepper. Now give them a gentle massage so we know everything is evenly coated. Last but not least, the chickpeas. Season them with a little bit of salt, black pepper, garlic powder, ground coriander, paprika, and chili flakes or cayenne pepper. And this goes in the oven on 450 Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. Place your leafy greens in a bowl. I'm also adding a large handful of fresh cilantro here, a splash of balsamic vinegar, and salt and pepper. Top it up with your roasted veggies and tofu as your heart desires, and toss on some Old Bagel seasoning. For the sheet pan quesadilla, you're gonna need a pan, obviously. I'm gonna use the cilantro for garnish, 1 onion, and I have mini white corn tortillas here. I'm gonna use half of the chorizo sausage and some of that stringy cheese. I will slice and bake the onion under the broiler in the oven, so I've prepped a small pan with a little bit of foil on it, just so we don't have to clean it too many times. Add a little bit of olive oil and salt and put it under the broiler for 5 to 10 minutes. Just to save on time, I'm heating up a pan on the stove here, but we could do this under the broiler as well. I just want to fry half of the chorizo sausage for around 2 minutes, just until it gets nice and bubbly. And after that, we can crack in our 2 eggs, give it a good stir and fry it all together for another minute, and that's about it. But as mentioned, you could do this under the broiler too. I've taken out the onions and I'm placing parchment paper in my baking tray and brushing it with a little bit of oil. Put one tortilla in the middle and the other ones will go around, kind of sticking out halfway, just so we can fold it into a quesadilla later. Once you've got that part done, add in the chorizo and egg mix at the bottom. Once you've got an even layer of the chorizo, add in the onion and spread them around evenly too. Finish with the cheese. The cheese is always the best part. I think I ended up using 3 of these jalapeno string cheese pieces, but you could use mozzarella, cheddar cheese, Mexican style cheese, whatever you've got. And now fold the parts of the tortilla that are sticking out of the pan towards the middle and place one more tortilla in the middle, so we have a full layer of tortilla on top as well. I don't have another pan of this size to put on top, so I'm just gonna cover it with my lid from the Dutch oven and bake it on 425 for 15 to 20 minutes. After that, I will remove the lid and some of the tortillas, bake it for another 10 minutes and serve it with some guacamole. For this recipe, you're gonna need chicken thighs. I'm using just 2, and I still have 2 left, the greens and asparagus. You want to cut off the bottom part of the asparagus, especially the white part, because it tends to get quite fibrous and very chewy. And you'll also want to cut the ends of your green beans. And as for the chicken, I'm using this smoky sriracha and lime marinade, but you could use any marinade that you have or any seasoning to your liking. If you're using a marinade, make sure the meat marinates for at least 10 minutes, the best it is overnight. And in the meantime, let's prep our vegetables. I'm just oiling my baking tray with a little bit of olive oil and placing in my vegetables. Season them to your liking. I'm using some salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. Place the chicken either on the side or on the top of your vegetables and bake it on 425 for 25 to 30 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video when we use the remaining of our ingredients. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to like this video, leave comments down below and subscribe to my channel so I'll get to make more videos like this.